ברוך אתה אדוני מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. The graduation ceremony of the Jerusalem Center for Bible Translators. Bruchim habayim. I will talk about why and where, and Miriam will talk about what. Because we were both teaching for years at another institution in Jerusalem. I as the head of a 2-year MA program in historical geography, and Miriam as the head of a 2-year program in Hebrew, where you needed to speak modern Hebrew and know to dig out the truths of biblical Hebrew in order to get that MA degree. And at that time, there even was a new department created for Bible translators, so that they could learn the language of the Bible in the land of the Bible. But we found out that some scattered Bible translators from around the world came from very different backgrounds than the mostly American students. And so my motherly wife said, what we really need is a home where their needs can be catered to, where all their needs will be taken care of except they can just concentrate on the studies. And there ended up being an administrative change so that we approached the Rothberg School with this vision of an MA for Bible translators. Well, that turned out to be more time and money than most Bible translators could ever dream of. And so what happened was that when we approached the Rothberg School in 1994 and said, look, you're training medical doctors, you're training farmers in your different programs for people from abroad, what are you doing for Bible translators? Doesn't everybody have the Bible? No. There are 7,000 languages in the world, and even now, only a tenth have a translation of the Hebrew Bible, 700 or so. So the short of it was that the Rothberg School, and it turned out that we even knew personally some of the officials from student days earlier, just really adopted the program and have supported it and have been incredibly helpful all the way along now for the 24th session. This is not the 25th year of the 5-month program, because we had a program all set in Spanish and then the drug wars in Mexico made it fall through. So this is actually the 24th class in the 5-month programs. And then we have, more recent decade, developed also 2-week programs, Land of the Bible programs. So I'm the Land of the Bible, historical geography. Miriam is the language of the Bible. And our dream then was not just land and language, but mother tongue Bible translators. They already know their own culture. It's not like training a European in Hebrew, a foreign language, and then some other target language, another foreign language, and going from one foreign language to another. Let the mother tongue speakers learn the original and then go right from the original into their own mother tongue. And now that idea has been adopted by others as well, so we're finding our niche in focusing on what's been a bottleneck in Bible translation, and that's what's called the consultants. Usually a Bible translator would need somebody who knows Hebrew or Greek to go over the translation for accuracy, but it turns out that most of these consultants who have to give the final word before you print the translations also know very little Hebrew. Some of them a lot, but most of them very little. So it means that out of these 700 translations that exist, most of them are translations of translations from different European languages and not from the Hebrew original. And in emergency you do what you can. But it's not, obviously, the ideal way. And so the vividness and the accuracy of translations done by people who know and love Hebrew are just so very different. And so when we get into this matter of the what of the program, we'll take a look at some of the actual courses that are being offered. Our concern is for truth, so that the Bible will be translated accurately. And that's one of the sismaot of my wife especially. She knows to dig and dig and dig. And I'll be sharing with you some of the student insights in a PowerPoint where I'll race through some of the kinds of things that are being learned, but she'll tell you about the program.
It's fun to see you sitting 2 meters apart when at home you don't sit like that. It's more like 20 centimeters. But that shouldn't be said loud anywhere, I guess, in this house. I thought that I would like to give my dream, which is actually happening in front of our eyes nowadays, and that is our aim is to really understand the text, open the Hebrew text and say, what is in there? How can I find everything about it? Or at least 90% of it. So you say, okay, you need to know the Hebrew language at least superficially. But then you really want to know the meaning. You have to go to the semantics. But even if you know that, do you still know to translate? No. So that you need the courses to be geared for translators, for those who are facing the question of how do I change this idea to the language that I'm serving. So the present program at the JCBT is very much, it's unique in that it's geared to translators. So that most of the teachers in the advanced language courses are consultants. Not only consultants for a while, but a lifetime consultancy. And so you know the program, of course, because you are taking it, but I wanted to share the ideal behind it. So here's the ideal. We don't emphasize modern Hebrew. Not that we are against modern Hebrew. I love modern Hebrew. But if you have 5 months to go, and that's all you have, put it for the task that is going to be in front of you in your faraway country. And because of that, we have then Living Biblical Hebrew, where you have the same idea. And I'm happy that some of the teachers are here. Opening your mouth and becoming part of you, but it's biblical Hebrew. The meaning of the words, that's the most important, right? So this year, we're very privileged to have Reinier de Bloy, one of the leaders in the world on these semantics, teach here. And then Daniel Notarius and him gave a very powerful package. Again, I'm repeating myself. The idea is get to know the text as well as you ever can. The Hebrew text, the one that's going to be your challenge out there. But then the translation issues pop up in discourse analysis more than in the other courses. So we have Dr. Noah Lee, who has a lot of experience in discourse analysis, knows Hebrew very, very well. He studied in Israel 3 years. One of the rare consultants who know Hebrew very, very well. Of course, Dr. Mary Salisbury, who loves the Hebrew poetry and loves the Proverbs as well. So we're trying to have made here a package that is, at least in ideal situation, perfect. But in reality, of course, it's not going to be as perfect. But the concept of really taking that challenge of understanding the Hebrew text in all its levels, narrative text and poetry, and even Proverbs, is the ideal. Because you're going to be, most of you are consultants, you're going to be challenged when you go back. You learned very much, but like one of you told me, what do we do next? We're just at the beginning only. And now, where? Halvor talked about why. I'm talking about what. But where? Where is the ideal back to study? Well, if I'm translating Dostoevsky, you better go to Russia and get to know its context, right? And some other literature You wouldn't translate without knowing Russian language, without never visiting Russia. In the level of literature, you don't allow that. When the Bible translation has been allowed years and years. The unique idea of text in the context, and that's one of the things that the students are going to now be presenting, what they get, a little bit of it. For one thing, the students didn't have much time because the program was very, very intensive. I see smiling faces and nods. Probably the most intensive program that has ever been. So if you put the academic hours together, you have over 400 hours of Hebrew. And in addition, the textual historical geography. Now, historical geography was the only class that was hampered by the corona, the only one. And in the last minute, in the last month, Halvor and Adam Pocht pushed it as much as possible. The first time Accredited was open in Galilee, our group was there. And so almost every day there has been a possibility to go. You have been going. That is a loss, but you have seen a lot. You have seen the land, you have seen the seasons, like some of you have been emphasizing. You have seen what does it mean, a rainy season. You understand what does it mean, everything is dry a little while now. You understand when certain fruit becomes ripe, and it tells you a lot just by implication when you see those fruits. So I'm very, very excited today that we came through. I would say you came through, because I want to say now publicly, for those who don't know the situation, that once our volunteers left the country, 7 of them, this group of scholars who really know to put themselves into the scholarship became family members to one another. There is a home for Bible translators in Yadashmuna by these people here, who are both scholars and also able to
cooks and house cleaners and
like to one of them, his wife called from abroad and said, "What are you doing?" "I'm washing dishes." "You are washing dishes?" You know, and because we are looking for servants. We're looking for servants, and we are one body, and that way we can serve also in that fashion to one another. So you to your people, thank you for making this course go through.